Nate's back out there. Is he going to be good to go, you think, for this week?
We had tests run today. I'm not sure what the results were, but he felt good enough to practice, went about half the time, and seemed to be moving okay.
Final determination been made on Keyshawn, and what's the severity there?
I didn't get a chance to talk to Clay today. I was in my office all day and got down right at practice, so I didn't get a chance to catch up with him. So as far as I know, it's still the same as it was a week ago.
Saw Jermaine go down on Saturday. Obviously came back, but no repercussions from
No, he just turned his ankle. You could see on the film where his foot just flipped over and turned his ankle.
Chance to review the film, Dana. Anything that stands out defensively as far as the areas that need to be addressed, need to be corrected to solve some of this?
It's, we had some really good possessions, but it's every facet of our defense. Our help recovers, we're just hugged up too much with our guys. We gave them some easy baskets in transition early, off of some turnovers. Rebounding, we did a better job after a poor start. They got a couple offensive rebounds early, but we did a better job after that. But we still got beat 5 on the boards. There's no one thing that we can lock in. We just having too many individual breakdowns on too many plays. And when you have a low possession game like that, it becomes much more obvious.
What were your kind of takeaways from that first game against Washington and what you'd like to see them do better this week?
Well, transition D is going to be really important there. They push it pretty good. Wheeler's, really pushing the ball, and Brooks is really talented. They're a talented team. They had a heck of a game at Washington State. I just got an opportunity to watch some of it today. I didn't get a chance to break it down, but a heck of an overtime game. So, both of these games were one possession games last time we played them, and we anticipate, they'll be tough, close games again.
What is it about what they do offensively, Dan, over the years, the last 5 years in particular, where there aren't very many teams who shoot as well against you guys as they do over the last 5 years in particular? They've had a lot of games shooting north of 45, north of 50%, and you guys usually don't allow that. Is it just the transition stuff they try to create high probability, or what is it about them that just...
Well, last year, the little guard, we made a player out of him. I can't remember any one particular thing that we've given up to him that has allowed him to do that, but we have had our hands full with Brooks. He's a good player. I don't think there's anything they do offensively. It's us a matter of doing some things defensively. I'm really disappointed. Analytics were way down the list defensively, and I just think we're better than that. And I told the guys that, whether it's me, them, our lack of communication between the coaches and the players, or just the players' communication, whatever it is, we should be a much better defensive team than what we are, and that's my fault. I'm not getting it done, not getting them to guard the way they're capable of. And for February, we're making way too many mistakes, scouting report mistakes, communication mistakes, that I just don't think we need to make. We did a good job. We're doing a better job in practice than we are in games. I wish we'd take some of our Monday, Tuesday practices to Thursday, Saturday, because we do a much better job with nobody in the gym than we are with crowd and national television watching.
We've seen multiple times this year now that this team is good. I mean, they've fallen down early and then found a way to kind of flip a switch and bounce back right away. We saw that on Saturday too. Is there something unique about this team that you've seen that kind of makes them good at that, coming from behind early?
We haven't gotten off to a good start here for a while, and I don't know if putting them to sleep before the game, with my talk or what, but we sure haven't come out, like we did in some earlier games, and jump on people. But we had bad turnovers the other night and, didn't get any stops. They had, 23 points in 10 minutes. They were on a 100-point pace. We finally got some stops. They, 10 and a half, they 7 of 8 possessions, we got stops. And, Bam finally hit some shots. But, hitting shots is one thing. You got to get some stops when you're down 18, and we finally started getting a few stops.
Did you notice anything different about the players, though, and their mentality when that flip kind of did switch a little bit and they started getting those stops?
Well, we got a little bit of a bad habit of, the really good teams, whether they're hitting shots or not, play with tremendous energy and intensity. And we have a little tendency when ball's not going in not to play with that same intensity. So that bothers me. We've got enough old guys. You kind of expect that from freshmen. That's the way they've always played. But older guys ought to be able to figure out by now that, there's just going to be games that doesn't go in. I always say 10, 10, and 10. You played 30 games. 10 of them you're going to shoot it really good. 10 of them you're not going to shoot it good. And 10 of them you're about average. And on those nights you don't shoot it well, you got to win it another way. And we didn't. We didn't get the stops when we needed. I know we didn't shoot it well, but there's going to be those nights. You look at any team in the country, there's just nights it doesn't go in. And we had good looks. We were 1 for 10 from 3 in the second half, and one of them was off the dribble that was a little bit of a tough shot, but we had 8 or 9 pretty good looks. Hit one. You got to find another way to win the game.
Has it been harder this year, Dan, in part because you have a shorter bench, because it's hard to hold somebody accountable if there's an execution error or mental error, because who do you turn to necessarily? And yeah, it'd be lovely to have a Eugene or a Shakur or a Paul White or a Boucher or Dylan, but if you don't have that dog, you don't have them. But if you don't have somebody to even turn to correct the mistake.
It does. It makes it, guys say, well, you're letting me play through mistakes, but, you got to hold guys accountable. And, you got to hold yourself. Like, I probably didn't distribute minutes the other night as well as I should have. We had 5 guys play over 30 minutes. They're not used to that. Maybe the reason we missed some of those shots is they were playing more than they usually play. I mean, that's on me. I didn't, and we expended a lot of energy coming back. We were pressing a lot more than we usually do with 6 guys that played. I only played KJ 10 minutes. I didn't play Mo much. So we played basically with 6 guys, and we expended a lot of energy, like I said, in those presses, and that's on me. I didn't get them spread out enough. But when you're in a 1-possession game or you're coming back from 18, it's kind of hard to spread those minutes out the way you want to. But
sense of the urgency, playing with urgency in February as the season starts to dwindle a little bit?
Oh, we got good guys. They understand where they're at, and they want to do the right things. We just haven't shown the toughness to do it. And I haven't had the demands, enough to do it. So, the flow of the game, I haven't been able to smooth that out any. Substitution patterns have been all over the board. No one, Cario got his first 2 starts, because we were planning on going with Nate, and then Nate doesn't show up. And so, but those are all excuses. Guys are used to playing together. Hell, in February, you've played enough together. You just got to fight through those things. And so, hopefully Nate, will be okay here, and we spread those minutes out a little bit. Dante's really playing at a high level. He got tired on some defensive possessions and was out of position, but gosh dang, watching the film, he got off to a slow start, but after the first 5 minutes, his last 35 minutes, the 30 minutes he played, pretty dang good. And so we got to feed off him a little bit more and figure out a way to get him more shots. They're doubling him every time. He made nice plays, though. He hit Bam for a little layup. The 1-3 we did hit in the second half, he got doubled, kicked it out, ball movement, and Jermaine hit it. He got a couple other threes for guys that we just didn't hit. But for a guy who's getting a lot of attention defensively, he's sure doing a pretty good job.
Get a sense that, obviously you languish in this stuff, but outside of Jermaine and Dante, do you get a feeling that some of this stuff is on the defensive end is bothering guys like the pillars, the whole team's under 70, under 40%, and win the rebounding battle? You guys haven't done that in Pac-12 play, and that's never happened for you. It's still possible, but I'm sure that drives you up a wall. But outside of those two guys, do you get a sense that there are guys around here who are really bothered by that reality?
Well, there's certain ways to play the game, and for a consistent team, because you're not going to shoot it well every night, those defensive numbers, the rebounding numbers, if you're going to have a consistent team and one that wins consistently, you're going to have those areas, in my opinion, because you're not going to shoot it well every night. And so on those nights we haven't shot it well, and even on some nights that we have shot it well, we defensively have not done a good job. So, it bothers me. And I think it bothers the fellas. We keep harping on those numbers, but, connection, not quite there, but it's human nature and agents and parents and girlfriends and everybody telling them, you got to shoot the ball more. Everything's offensive oriented. Press gets, you got to score. There's a lot of different ways to win games. UCLA's proven that. Defensively their numbers are great, and they've won a number. Now they're starting to play better offensively, and they're really a tough out. But we were practicing today, and we'd make a mistake on the offensive end, and all the guys, we come down and give up an easy one, and not one reaction. And I'm just the opposite. We're going to make some mistakes offensively. We can live with those fellas. We don't have to give up these easy baskets, but it's just human nature, and everybody in there telling them, offensively you got to do this, and it's just they miss a shot or somebody doesn't get them the ball, and their reaction is, and we give up an easy one on the defense, and that's all right. Let's just go, and that drives me nuts. But anyway, it's just kind of the way guys are geared, and that's, as coaches, you got to kind of get them to realize the other part of it. And what did rat trap or whatever Saban says about listening to everybody? Rat poison, you listen to everybody, but we could win a lot more games if we were all locked in defensively. And I know that's the way for consistency. Year in, year out, game in, game out. If you're going to be consistent, you got to guard and rebound. And we have not met our standard, and because of that, we're 15-7, and defensively, if we don't get things turned around here in the next 5-6 weeks, we're not going to accomplish, what we set out to accomplish. And we're going to have to do it with fewer numbers. Our guys on the perimeter are going to have to stay out of foul trouble, but they're going to have to get up. And I think we're, if Nate's able to come back here, I think inside between Nate and Dante and Mo and KJ, we got plenty there. We're going to have to do a little better job on the perimeter. And, we're going to have to get Jackson some blows because, we just played him too much the other night and he got worn down. And, so we're just going to I'm going to have to do a better job of distributing those minutes on the perimeter.
You talked about wanting to see guys locked in and all that, but on the other side of the coin, maybe the perspective of having that kids group in today and getting to interact with them and kind of maybe be reminded of the bigger picture a little bit. What did you think of having that group in today and watching you guys interact with them?
Well, I hope so. We all at some point in time feel sorry for ourselves thinking we got it tough. Sometimes it's good to have a different perspective. I read a few of the things which some of our guests today have been through, their families. And, our guys just sat there and, you could tell, that they're thinking maybe they don't have it as bad as they think they have it. And, none of them are fathers yet, but, our coaches are. And you start thinking about, what if that was one of your children, some of the things that they have to go through and how tough they are and how tough those families are. If it doesn't put a different perspective on it for our guys, they need to wake up, because I can't imagine that as a father. Those kids with smiles on their faces out there playing with our guys and knowing what they've been through. That resiliency, that toughness that the families, that those kids showed. Like I said, if it doesn't make an impression on them, there's something wrong, because it sure made an impression on me in the last 14 years. We've been fortunate enough to work with the Children's Hospital, and every year it makes an impression on me. So I sure hope that it does, because we like to do it every year with them, and it does put everything in perspective.